All right, folks. The Cheaha Challenge Ultra. Big day in the saddle. 13,000 feet of climbing, 126 miles. It's going to be a doozy. One thing I always like to do is make sure all the climbs are visible when you're using Ride with GPS. You got descents as well, just to get a feel for those. But it looks like they're being mean to y'all at the very end here by just making you do these little out and backers. But let's go from the start. So it's going to be a grind to the six mile mark. You know how it goes in a group. This is essentially going to be a race for some folks. For others, it's just a matter of getting through the day, finishing strong, executing a plan. But for some, and actually for all, when you get excited and you're with a group, it's going to be really easy to overdo it on this uphill to start with. So 1.8 mile at 3.5%. That's not killer. And in a group, it may be fine, but it's going to be very easy for you to be overriding that, and then you're going to pay for it here at the very end of this race slash ride. So it's one of those things like you want to evaluate how hard you're going. You're going to get a little recovery here. So if you're near the top and there's a group, you're tailing off a group, I would push to stay with so that you're with a group for this whole section. But if there's a big group behind you and it's early on and you're redlined, integrate with the group behind you. Kind of ride your own pace, but you want to make sure you're with a group. If you're climbing well and feeling good and you're trying to stay with the lead group, and that's your goal, then you got to go when they go. Then we've got our next climb is this 2.7 miler at 4%, which includes a little bit of a shallow lead in. So it looks like it's actually going to be more than that 6% range on 7%, 8%. So that upper section is going to be a steep little kicker. So that's going to be a tough climb. Right here, 0.7 miles at 10%. That's going to be or 9.3. That's going to be a hard little climb. A 10% grade, you're probably looking at riding that. Stronger folks, if you can ride 10 miles an hour up a 10% grade, you're pushing some pretty big power to weight. If you're a little higher than that, but that kind of gives you a feel. So 0.7 of a mile at 10 miles an hour, it's going to be a 4+ minute effort there. And then they kind of come in succession here. So little ups, little downs, and then you get to the first big one here, which is going to be 3.6 miles at 6%. But it looks like this upper section gets pretty steep, 7-8+% if we can trust Ride with GPS, which I never do. So you got a low section that's going to be steep, a little bit of an ease off through the just after halfway, and then it finishes steep. If we look at this, you kind of go up and around, and then you start this descent, and it starts a little technical, but after that first kind of third, it's going to be pretty wide open. So you got a really fast, wide open descent. So there'll be time to catch back on. If you do tail off a little bit, there would be time to catch back on if you're a good descender for sure. And then this is the out and back section, so a little climb on the out, which is this one. So 1.1 miles at 8%. Again, that's going to be a tough little push. You'll get to see where everyone's at because they'll be coming the other way. And then let's keep going here. Then we've got the part of the climb that you just descended. So you do part of that, but then they have you guys take a left-hander. So the Century folks keep going straight. The Ultra folks then kick off to the left here, and you do a nice little extra bit of climbing when they dump you down this descent, turn around, and coming back up. There's going to be a rest stop here, and this is the start of the second KOM QOM. That's going to be a big one. 7.3 miles at 4.2%, which is like steep to start, not so bad, and then a big finish here, long grind. The descent over the top of that one, so at 68 miles, that descent is a more technical one. So be safe there. You got the twists and the turns here, so be safe. And then we've got this longer, oh, I don't want to zoom that. We got this longer section. Let me unzoom. Zoom out. So we got this long section before, your kind of big climb. These are going to hurt still. Like, these are not easy. If we look at them on the profiles here, 1.1 at 5%, 8.8 at 5%, 0.8 at 6%. So those are going to be, you're going to have fatigue in the legs by here, but those are going to be decent little pushes. If you've gone too hard, you're going to feel those. And then here's your regroup section. Like, you got to recover, make sure you're fueling. Don't get lazy just because you're getting close to being back, where you started, back to the city, because it's going to be a massive reality check when they dump you off to the left here, to the west, and now you've got a bunch of climbs coming at you. 2.7 miles at 4.7%, then we got 2.4 miles at 5.6, and then we got 2.4 at 4.6, and then this last one, 2.9 at 7.4. That's going to be a doozy at the very end. That's got some steep grades, 15% climb. You're going to want all the gears on this one this late into a ride. So you go straight up this mountainside. It's going to be steep. It's going to be hard. And then they want to warn you, there's a very steep, curvy descent. So stay in your lane, both going up and going down. But this is going to be a brute to end it. But once you get to the top, you're done. Downhill to the finish line. So be ready. Be ready to suffer late. It's going to be a doozy. If you're feeling good late and you're with the front group, that thing's going to make the difference. That climb's going to drop a lot of folks. It's a tough one. It's going to be a very tough climb. If you take out the slight run in, let's see what it is if I highlight it here. So when I highlight it, it says a max of 15.2%, average of 8% for 1.7 miles. So that is going to be a fun one. Now I'm just playing here. All right, crew. Be smart. Be smart early. What you do early sets the stage for how you're going to feel late. If you overdo it early, it's a long way to go to the finish. So be smart. Don't let the adrenaline get a hold of you and have you empty the tank too soon. Find your pace, your sustainable pace. It's a big day in the saddle. It's a lot of climbing, and you want to have some legs for these last 1, 2, 3, 4 climbs that come at you in the last last 20 miles or so. And that last one's a doozy, so make sure you're ready for it. All right, crew, don't get surprised by anything. You've got the course run down. Hydrate, fuel, pace yourself. Those are the 3 keys, and you'll have a great day. All right, peace.